Hello and welcome to Blind Man Plays. This is Jared Walters, and for those of you who have been following this series on my channel, this is Adaptation, where I am on a quest to find the good, the bad and the ugly of the licensed games based off other materials such as books, films, TV shows, across all sorts of retro platforms. For the first few videos I have been focusing on the PlayStation 1 and games based on TV shows. This is the third and final video in this chapter of my quest. I will not be covering every game released for the PlayStation based on a TV show, unfortunately, because there is just far too many. I've just discovered a bunch of Nickelodeon type games based on franchises such as Powerpuff Girls and Rugrats, etc. And I'll probably have about 6 videos if I covered everything. And if you want me to do one, say perhaps a video based on kids shows, for example, then perhaps we can do that later down the line. This series is Adaptation. This is 11 more games on the PlayStation platform based on TV shows.
Delivery for the Warners.
Look, we're going bowling! And it'll be in 3D.
What's 3D? Digitally developed for dollars.
No, wait! I want to do it again!
Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think so, Brain. But this time, you get to feed the alligator.
No, Pinky. Bowling, the sport of pharaohs. Here's our chance to take over the world!
So we're starting off, these are in no particular order. Each game I will show a segment and give my thoughts. First game, Animaniacs Ten Pin Alley. I couldn't get along with this. Some people I've seen on the web that have played this have said it's a good game, it's a good bowling game. I really couldn't get along with this, guys, to be honest. I couldn't figure out the controls, and when I did, I just didn't really have much fun with this at all. I liked the quirkiness and wackiness of the Animaniacs characters. It was good, you know, I could play as the Brain, for example. But I know there's much better Animaniacs games out there on platforms such as the Super Nintendo. I think there's other Animaniacs games on like PlayStation 2 and things like that. To be perfectly honest, guys, I don't have much to say about this game. I found it incredibly frustrating. I didn't get along with it, and I would say to give it a miss.
Yes! Pinky, at this rate, the world will soon be ours!
Hurry up, Matty. Don't you know we've got a race to win? Son of Rockin'. Stop your sniveling. I've got a dastardly plan to win this race.
And now, here they are, the most daredevil group of daffy drivers to ever whirl their wheels in the Wacky Racers. And away they go on the Way Out Wacky Race. Leading the race is the Turbo Terrific, driven by Peter Perfect. Maneuvering for position is the Army Surplus Special. Oh, and here's the lovely Penelope Pitstop, the glamour gal of the gas pedal. Next we have the Bouldermobile with the Slag Brothers, Rock and Gravel. Lurching along in the creepy coupe is the Gruesome Twosome. And right on their tail is the Red Max. And sneaking along last is that Mean Machine with those double-dealing do-batters, Dick Dastardly and his sidekick, Muttley.
Just watch this dastardly dirty deed. Curses! Foiled again!
Wacky Races. Now this I quite enjoyed. It had all the feeling of the Wacky Races, you know, Dirk Dastardly and the different sort of racers. You had, you know, the military surplus and the Penelope, and what was it? I can't remember the entirety of the actual selection of cars of Wacky Racers off the top of my head, but I really enjoyed this. I remember watching Wacky Racers when I was younger. I've said in previous videos that the Saturday evening cartoons was a big staple of my childhood after Saturday Grandstand on the BBC. And this to show cartoons such as Bugs Bunny, Pig Panther, Wacky Racers, things like that, and I really enjoyed the cartoons. You got Dick Dastardly and Muttley that's going to try and foil your plans, but essentially this is a kart racing game. The graphics really do suit the show. The races do present a bit of a challenge. It's no Mario Kart by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a fun, really fun game. To be perfectly honest, if you can get this for cheap, or just, you know, for a little bit of couch co-op, or just to enjoy a bit of fun in the Wacky Racers world, if you're a fan of the franchise, then definitely worth a pick up in my opinion. I really enjoyed my time with this game. I like the diversity of tracks. I love the little weapons and enhancements that you can use. You know, it started off a little frustrating for me because it was a driving game, and me and driving games don't really get on so well, but after a while, you know, I got to learn the learning curve, and I really kind of enjoyed it. I felt it wasn't a punishing game by any stretch of the imagination, but it was, you know, a game that had a little bit of difficulty in it, and a bit of a learning curve, and a bit of a, you know, I wanted to come back. I wanted to come back and play it after, you know, my first or second playthrough, playing through some of the tracks. I wanted to come back and play it. So yeah, I really recommend this game, guys. To be perfectly honest with you, it was a good game. It was a good game, and I really had a lot of fun with this.
Wow, look at that! Turbo-terrific's making a turn for the worse. Double Zero's made a wrong turn.
Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. This game suffers from what a lot of 3D beat-em-ups that came out on the PlayStation suffers from. It's trying to sort of emulate the sort of 2D beat-em-up, you know, your Streets of Rage, Double Dragon type game, and it really doesn't. The hit detection when you're hitting enemies just doesn't feel... I don't feel like I'm a Power Ranger playing this game. I feel like I'm a dude in a weird suit walking around beating up guys on a top of a building. And by the time I'd sort of got to the first boss, I was getting really bored with this game. It was the same. There was nothing to keep me sort of entertained or engaged. I just felt it was a cheap rip-off of the franchise and a way to cash in very quickly, to be perfectly honest with you. The graphics are serviceable. You know, it's a nice kind of 3D environment. I like the way the building is kind of mapped out. But to be honest with you, by the time I got to the first or second boss of the game, I was ready to put this down. And yeah, it's the better of the two games, the Power Rangers based games that came out on the system. But that's not saying a great deal, because then up next we have Power Rangers Timeforce. Right, I didn't get past the first level in this, and I'm not going to be apologetic for it. It was annoying from the first time I got up from the beach. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I found it difficult to get any direction. I felt it was platforming. Basically, I'm beating the clock. I've got no time for games where my enemy is the frigging clock. I don't care how you frame it in the fact that they've got to be in a time frame for a certain amount of time. No, I'm sorry. This did not do it for me at all. The platforming is okay. The hit detection on the enemies is okay when there are enemies, but to be honest with you, my enemies here seem to be boulders and a clock, and I really didn't have much time for it. So can't recommend this one. Sorry, guys. just going to take a few seconds to say to you guys, thank you for watching this video. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you fancy it, subscribe to the channel. I will be updating more videos more regularly, hopefully on a weekly basis, maybe multiple times per week, but definitely on a weekly basis. And you can click that little bell to get notified when I do upload the next video. My main focus is going to be the licensed material videos, but I'll be doing games based on movies, TV shows, real life events, real people, all sorts in the coming weeks. So if you want to keep up with that, please do give us a like and subscribe. Thank you.
Now, where the heck am I? Maybe the person who lives in the silo will tell me where I'm at and how to get out of being at here.
Come right in. How do you do? My name is Merlin, and I'm a sorcerer.
Yeah? Really? A sorcerer? Come on, let me see a saucer. Please, please?
Of course. Anything to oblige a guest.
You know, that's a good trick, Moyle, old Goyle. Can you do this one?
Well, the next two games I'm going to basically breeze over and talk about them both at once, because they're very, very similar. We've got Bugs Bunny Lost in Time and Bugs Bunny and Taz, which is another time-based game. Both of the games involve Bugs being lost in time and having to do certain things to get back to his correct place. The first one is Lost in Time, and it's okay. It's got the charm of the Bugs Bunny cartoons, but to be perfectly honest with you, by the time again I got to like the first level, that charm really ran out very quickly. I felt that the camera really hampered things, that I felt like I was jumping one way and I was jumping another. It was trying to do something, I don't know, it was trying to be something it was not, and it was like, it's a game I want to like, right? Because it's funny, it's got that Bugs Bunny charm in it, it's got that sort of Tiny Toons, Looney Tunes kind of charm going for it, and it's like I feel like I'm playing a bit of a Bugs Bunny cartoon here, especially when I'm chasing, I'm being hunted by the Wabbit guy, and I'm defeating him as a boss. But to be perfectly honest with you, by the time I got past this, or like sort of halfway through the first level, I got bored of the mechanics, and it didn't do anything for me, unfortunately. The same goes for Bugs and Taz, Time, I can't remember the name of the title now, but the sequel involving Bugs and Taz. The issue that I have with this is it's more of the same. They've tried to sort of shake things up a bit by having Bugs and Taz be different, and you have to chop between them, but really all Taz is doing in this is things that Bugs could have done in the first game. It's like, why can he pick up a block? Not a problem in the first game, and in the second game he's like, oh, it's too heavy. And to be honest with you, by the time I got past the training stages, I really didn't want to play the rest of the game. The training was just too much. It was, the first world was too big, it was too vast, and it was like, I got bored very, very quickly playing this, sadly. So if you like 3D platformers, if you get along with games such as like Gex 3D and games such like that, you might enjoy and get a kick out this game. It wasn't for me personally, for the pair of these. Fantastic Four. Now, I'm not sure whether this is based off the comic book or the TV show, but I thought I'd include it anyway because it felt like it was part of the sort of TV franchise. I could be wrong here. Now, this is on par with Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. It depends on who you play. I had more fun playing the Human Torch than I did Mr. Fantastic. They're the two characters I tried. I only played through the first sort of level, because by the time I got to the boss, A, I didn't know what I was doing on the boss, and I didn't know how to hit him. And secondly, again, this is a game where they could have done a lot more with this. They could have done a lot more with this franchise. They could have done a lot more with these characters. And I just feel like it's an adaptation of, you know, the same old, the 3D trying to create sort of Streets of Rage or, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a 2.5D kind of way. And it just, to me, it felt too chaotic. I didn't know what was going on. I had no sort of frame of reference for the story. And to be perfectly honest, there was not enough in this game to keep me interested. Sadly, not one I can recommend.
Are you all right, Master Robin?
Wake up again. Oh, what happened?
The good news is that you, Beaker, Peppy, and myself are unharmed.
What's the bad news?
Unfortunately, your Uncle Kermit, Miss Piggy, and the others have been transformed into hideous monsters.
Oh, no! See.
Oh, yes! We managed to escape, and I found my Uncle Petrie's secret lab. We're safe for now, but the Master's evil energy is permeating the entire village. Everything in the area is rapidly becoming evil. Evil, evil, evil.
Muppets Monster Adventure. Now, I found this game towards the end of doing the captures. I'd basically done most of the captures for the gameplay for a lot of this video. And I found this one out, like, just when I was browsing an article on the web about something else, and it sort of came up as a reference. I was like, oh, there's a Muppets game on the PS1. So I tried it out. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's okay. It's much better. It's a much better 3D platformer than the Bugs Bunny offerings. It's probably the best 3D platformer based on a TV show that I've played. The premise of the game is the Muppets have been kidnapped. You've gone to like a haunted house, and you've basically got to rescue them by going to these different worlds and collecting different trinkets and things like that. There's a couple of mechanics to change things up. There's like a race mechanic where you have to race. You play as Kermit's nephew. I like how colourful this game is, and the camera is not really obstructive. My only sort of complaint is the world could have been a bit tighter. It feels a bit vast and empty on times. But, you know, they do try and sort of spur things up a bit. Whether or not I would actually have suffered from the symptoms of getting bored of this game after the second or third level, I'm not sure. I am a little bit sort of put off that you've got to collect so many different things before that you can sort of pass through each level. But I didn't mind because there was a lot of exploration and there was things that kept me interested. Like, for example, as I said, the race segment. There's different sort of routes to get through the stage, and there's little things that keep you going. So I didn't spend a lot of time with this game because I didn't have a chance to play it. I managed to borrow a copy off a friend and sort of play it for about an hour. But basically it was, for me, I would say I would probably go back to this and give it a better go. I would go back to this and I would probably enjoy it as well.
Way to go, okay? Hey, you keep in the Muppet talking, okay?
X-Men Mutant Academy. X-Men Mutant Academy. Now, basically, the style of it is based on the X-Men cartoon and the X-Men comics. And it's a fighting game, so essentially you are picking different X-Men or different people from the X-Men universe, and you fight each other in a sort of Street Fighter style way. The game mechanics are really good as a beat 'em up. You know, it's not on par with Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but it's a serviceable beat 'em up. It's not as bad as say the Star Wars beat 'em up on the PlayStation. It's mostly sort of like it's this kind of like 2.5D sort of offering where, you know, it looks kind of 3D, but it isn't. It's just like 2D with a bit of depth. The graphics are really cool. I played as Wolverine on this, and I had a good time. And I wanted to carry on playing. So yeah, I could recommend this.
Not even warmed up.
Sadly, the same can't be said for Mutant Academy 2. This game felt rushed. You have more characters to select from, and they just don't feel the same. The powers and things that you use, like the different combos and things that you use, just don't feel the same. They don't seem to have the same impact. I felt like I was compelled to just repeat the same moves over and over again because, you know, one minute the AI would be really difficult, the next minute it would be really easy, and I wouldn't know what was going when I was coming or going. And just the graphics on this was a real put off. They just felt rushed. The character models are okay, they were serviceable, but the backgrounds were absolutely terrible. And to be perfectly honest, if you're going to go for an X-Men game on here, then I would definitely go for Mutant Academy 1.
Let's go, bub.
Round 1, fight!
Power drain.
And finally, X-Men versus Street Fighter. Leave us in as a little bit of a bonus. This is good. It's not, you know, as good as say like your Street Fighter Alpha or your Marvel versus Capcom series, but you know, it's you get to play as X-Men and you get to beat up Street Fighter characters. What more can I say? It's got like the sort of combos and the different things that you'd expect. Beat 'em up's not exactly my sort of cup of tea, but I've had great fun with them over the years. I can guarantee you would probably kick my ass if we played beat 'em ups together. I am no good at beat 'em ups at all, except for wrestling games. I'm not too bad at wrestling games, but yeah, there you have it. It's a serviceable game, and I quite enjoyed the X-Men vs Street Fighter. So, thank you very much, guys, for watching this series. Thank you for those who voted on the poll on the community section. Now, I did have a couple of requests, and it was probably like neck and neck, but I did say I would go with the poll, unfortunately, to those that added comments. I do apologise. So, we're going to be going with Game Boy Advance next, and I think we'll stick with TV shows for the first offering, and then perhaps go to something based on, say, movies next time round. So the next video in the adaptation series is going to be Game Boy Advance games based on TV shows, and we're going to see what the good, the bad, the ugly are. And we're also going to be doing a video soon coming up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ports of the original NES game that were harder than the original. And I am going to be doing some videos on the Commodore Amiga. I am hoping as well to do a wrestling video series every Friday based on sort of wrestling games, and more on that coming very, very soon. And for those of you that want to know more about my retro history, check out a recent video I did, which is football games I was too blind to play. And if you want to know a bit more about me personally, why I call myself the Blind Gamer, why this channel's called Blind Man Plays, then the answers will be in that video. So do please take a look, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.